Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Steel Core Commander vs. Twilight Guard 2-pack. This is the first Versus pack that we've got, and hopefully we'll get some more. Now, I know some people have already said, hey, it's not really an army builder if you're making it a commander, but let's be honest, there's more than enough steel core heads that you can probably swap if you really need to, or you just ignore it and it doesn't really matter. You could say they're army builders. Either way, most people don't seem to be too hyped on the commander, but in this Twilight Guard, it does look pretty good. And this thing is pretty much packed with reuse, and I'm perfectly fine because that is how you generate revenue in a line. I've discussed this with all the brands and what they do. So we're going to take a look at this. I can't wait to get it open. Here on the side, we can see the two of them in their verses. On here, we have their somewhat file card and a QR code that leads you to hell. And then on the back, we got some wonderful, wonderful photography with them fighting, along with some of the blast effects that they're going to have. And then they always give you like 3 different things, just kind of showcasing. But anyway, I am excited to get this, and I can tell you, I've looked at this steel core, the Twilight Guard, and he's not just a repaint of the Crimson Guard. He's a mix and match of some other figures, or at least one other figure. So anyway, let's get to it. If you like the stuff that I'm giving you, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. Now let's get to this, and not this. Okay, so I got the figures out, and let me just say, these are not just repaints. They used other bucks to mix and match to make these figures. So this is not just a Crimson Guard, and this is not just your steel core figure. Again, total mix and match. But we will get to that after. So quickly, let's go over what you're going to get with this figure. Loaded out with accessories, and for me, I have a lot of accessories. I don't know if I need all this. We'll quickly go through it. We got the blast effects. Again, I don't mind this one. It isn't awful. This one can be decent in many shots. We've seen this numerous times. Then we have these 2 longer ones. Again, very flexy. Not a fan of these, as these are blasters more than actual bullets. Maybe if you had a bullet tip, it'd make more sense. Not a big fan of those. This one here, you can kind of make it work. I really wish that this worked with Major Blood's rocket, but it's just not the right size. So you do have this one. I do enjoy this one. It kind of makes it easy. Either he's shooting up at something, maybe he's shooting across. Unfortunately, there's no bullets, but at least you get some sort of paint on it that just kind of accents it a little bit. And then you have this little blast effect here. Now, if you don't know, you can use this one and put it in the end of Bazooka's bazooka, and it looks like you have a back blast coming off when you have the rocket shooting out. So those are the effects. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot these 2 here. So this one I do like, just because it's small enough. Again, if it had a small bullet on here, I think it looked much cooler. You're just going to have the explosion coming out. And then I do think they do really good with their smoke effects. But again, I have so many effects that I don't need all of these. I don't even think they're all that good. Now we'll look at the weapons. And first we'll look at the Twilight Guards. And this is basically a repaint of the original Gung-Ho stuff. So here's his backpack. All right. It has his insignia on the top there. I like the purple straps. It does look nice. The black and the purple, just with a little bit of red, but the purple just makes it really stand out. And it does have spots because they were making sure that you could keep everything on his person. They still do, but it wasn't as good as they're doing now. But all in all, the backpack isn't bad if you're into this. All right, so we have this laser cannon. Now, I think this works for a Cobra Trooper. I did not think this worked with Gung-Ho. Now, it is softer than Gung-Ho stuff. Now, again, Mars and Enterprises, Extensive Enterprises, they're doing stuff. You can get away with the lasers. So you have the red to kind of show like once it's charging, I'm assuming that's going to fire. Then you got the purple to go along with his with his color scheme, right? The design looks pretty good. All right. There's details on the grip there. You got your trigger guard. It is made to look like you're kind of going to cock it back and forth. So that doesn't look bad, and it does plug in so it will stay on here if you need. Then you have this one. Again, you get the red here. Now, Gung Ho's didn't have any of this. So, again, soft. Gung Ho's wasn't like this. I don't know why I can't figure out what they're doing or if just how they're being produced. So, you have the nice purple. Again, good design. This is what they call a bullpup. So, it is supposed to have a removable magazine. This does not remove, although it does look very similar to what the Alley Viper came with. The magazine, not the gun. All in all, it's not a bad looking type of rifle. If you're looking for like a plasma rifle, again, does work with Cobra. And then you have what's supposed to be the grenade launcher. This, I guess you could get away with it because either it's a grenade launcher, a smoke launcher, something like that. Design is decent. Color scheme is good. Stock is really the only thing that seems real soft. Everything else seems to be a little bit harder of a plastic. All in all, this isn't the worst looking weapon. Then we have the same sword that came with our Crimson Guard. Does pull out. And I do love the purple on the handle. Got a little I think it's a snake there. We discussed this before. I kind of forget what it was. Right up top there. But the blade is a darker, like gunmetal. I think it looks good. And then you obviously have a little bit of purple just to accent it. I believe they do a lot of this, so you can't just mix and match them. Here we have the same knife that we came with. All right, it flexes. It's not awful. It's not super thick, so it's not bad. You got the black handle, and it has the same, I believe that's a Cobra. See that? You can see the eyes on it right there. You can see the teeth. And that's what I believe this is too, see? That's a Cobra. And then you get the pistol, which I think is one of the best pistols that the G.I. Joe team has made. At least they did. They said it makes some pretty good stuff here. Grip has some detail. You got your slide, which is a little bit of different color, so it all accents his color scheme right there. And you get the port for blast effects. These do not have ports for blast effects. They give you all these blast effects, but you can't use any ports. At least fix that. Over here, we have the M16 that we've seen with Mutton Junkyard. It's got the scope on it. It's got the stock, and yes, it is flexible. And unfortunately, if you're holding it too long, it will start to bend. So you're just going to have to kind of mess around with it a little bit. Port for blast effects. I actually do like this gun. I don't think it's awful. Removable magazine. And here is a quick tip. If you are a Valaverse fan, you can take this magazine, use a little bit of sticky tack, and plug it into their M16s, or I'm sorry, their M4s. He doesn't do M16s. M4s and those types of rifles. And this is a little bit thicker, and it looks 10 times better than the tiny mags that they come with. Here we have one of the submachine guns with a 203 of some sort on it. Removable magazine. Now this came with the Steel Brigades. It also came with, I want to say the Viper 3-pack. I might be wrong. Design isn't bad. This one is soft. Again, I don't know why they've done this. Where this one is not nearly the same diameter. You got your scope on it. Grip looks good. All right, just a little bit of purple pops it. And of course, this makes it so you know which one goes to who. Here on this side, same thing. So you're looking at all this design. Again, I do think it looks good. This is what you get. This is what you get when you get 3D, or when you get plastic mold injection. 3D prints, you're going to get way better looks. Here is one of the other submachine guns that the steel core came with. Again, it's flexible. It does look like it has a rail system on it. These are laser spotters, I do believe. Once again, we have removable magazines, and these are universal across this whole line of weapons. So if you have the other steel cores and stuff like that, you can use it. Again, purple makes it pop a little bit. Port for blast effects. Then you got your sight right there. All in all, not a bad looking weapon. All right, here we have this one, which is way too flexible, and you can see here I have this one, and this one just seems a little bit stiffer. Obviously you can see where the barrel starts to bend, but all in all, I think that this one tends to be a little bit better. All right, so you do have the suppressor on it. You got your scope, again a removable magazine. The purple, which just kind of makes it pop. As you can see, this thing is bent all over the place, so you're going to have to do some work heating it up, cooling it down to get it straight. But all in all, the design is there. As we have your safety for your trigger. All in all, I don't mind it. Then we get Rock and Roll's big ol' M60, and unfortunately, we still have the issue with this thing bending. I really wish this one they would have kept all black, or maybe put green on it rather. But I think that's what Rock and Roll's was. The purple just, I look at this and this is a manly machine gun. Unfortunately, you put that purple on it, and I think it kind of takes away from it. All right, so looking at this here, we do have the green ammo can that you can plug in if you want to. Why it's green, I don't know. Why this is green and that's not, I have no idea. You do have the bullets, and you obviously have the paint for the belt, so you can actually see what's actually holding the bullets on. All right, nice little handle. Port for blast effect. Again, I do like this when you get it nice and straight. And then we have a bullet belt. All right, all these little bullets, and then you have the paint right down that is going to hold them together. And if need be, you can kind of plug this in now as it runs through. What I would love for them to do is, I know they have in-house Marvel team, and I know Valaverse does it. They have bullets kind of exploding out. Valaverse has a kit that has it. It's very hard to get in here, just because there's not that much space to make it look like it's shooting out the shells. They do it with the Ironmonger figure, I believe. But I think that it would be great if they just kind of looked at this and they made it so you could put some that plug onto this, their own little version. And then anyone with these belts that have a little piece hanging off, they could have all the shells exploding off. Then we get the knife. Not that bad. It is a little bit thinner. I really do like the color that they're going with. Has some texture on the grip, so it's all good. Oops. And then we have his pistol, and you can see this thing is sagging. So unfortunately, another thing that we will have to heat up and kind of fix if we want it to be straight. I like the gold. It does pop with this. Extended magazine. Walls are falling down if you can't tell. I'm going to fix that in a second. So all in all, these are the weapons. I think they look pretty good. Now give me a second so I can restand these figures and get into the figures. All right, let's start off with the Steel Core Commander here, and a quick look at him. He has a gold helmet. He has his big overlay, which again, this isn't that bad because of where it's cut, but it is big and bulky. He's got the pauldrons, which I took off. I actually don't think it looks bad on this one, but I really didn't like it over here. But all right, now we're gonna have to take a look at these and compare them. So I'm gonna quickly go over everything on this. So looking at the paint here, get some nice gold. It looks pretty good. The nice design on the face mask I think is good. Kind of wraps around, and you do have a couple little paint apps that get hit here. Got the pauldrons, with the steel core logo with an eagle and star, which I actually like. You got some shotgun shells that are going to wrap around. Unfortunately, I don't believe he has any shotguns, or maybe that can be used for, maybe they're supposed to be more like a grenade launcher, or maybe that's a shotgun. Who knows? It's an action figure. Do what you want with it. He still has the Joe Pro, a little bit of paint up there. Got the sheath for the knife. He has his flashbang right there. Pouches across it. And just a couple spots of paint with the green and then obviously the black, but I think it looks really good. You can see where the belt is going to buckle there. Going all the way down here, he has another belt buckle. All right, that's where you're going to hold on the pistol. And you have an extra magazine right there, magazine pouch. Then you have a sculpted in belt. So this guy's rocking lots of belts here. Here you have your thigh holster. Then you have your I'm assuming med pack is another pouch. You can do whatever you want with it. Again, toys. And here you have all the way down pinless joints. Different boots here. All right, and on the back, you can see exactly how it looks. So quickly, we're going to do the articulation as he can kind of look up. I wish they could look up more. He can look down. Neck does move kind of back and forth. Swivel. Because of the pauldrons, you're only going to get so much of an. Can move them out of the way. And just kind of bunch up. There's his T-pose. Here. Bicep swivel. Double pinless elbows. Here your yeah, I apologize, guys. Wrist swivel. Again, same thing over here. Now, if you're asking why I do this, there's always new people coming into the line. All right, always new people coming into the line. They may not understand articulation, so I'm showing it off. And it only takes a couple seconds. We do have an ab crunch, which is hard to see. And this guy is, well, he's not that loose because this is here. But this is actually a pretty loose figure, unfortunately. He is turned side to side. I do feel like whatever they were using to put these together, they don't have the same issues. They were really tight before, like you felt like they were going to break. Don't have the exact same issue anymore. There's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Does have drop down hips. He can kick out straight. And there you go with your thigh swivel. Double pinless knees. You get your boot cut. This is a lot. I ain't gonna lie, guys. I do it so much. So, all right. But a couple things that were mentioned, and that was pinless. And the reason why that seems like something is because the original ones weren't pinless. Now, I think most of us were under the assumption this was just a repaint. At least I was. Now, admittedly, I don't go and study all of these. I don't sit there and study each and every single one of them. So we're going to take a look and see what is different. And quickly looking at it, we have new arms. You got different hands. The whole torso looks to be completely different. The legs are different, as you can see. Completely different boots. All right. And it does look like he's actually a little bit taller. And this has been an issue that a lot of people have had, that thought that these guys were a little too short. So all in all, this is a better figure. Now, if you take this off, I think he's going to be extremely loose. Probably like Firefly, and that I don't like. I mean, it's hard to say that you would like that if you're a collector. But all in all, this buck and this look, I think is just better than this. Now, I know this is more classic, and I took the pauldrons off. I probably pop the pauldrons off of this one because I just don't think it looks really good. All right. But as you can see, these are two different figures. Now let's pop the head off and see if we can swap these heads, because this might be something that people want to do. So it looks like the neck is probably the same. So if I want to pop on this one, no problem. And the paint, although a little bit different, it definitely does match enough. And if I pop this one on here, the dark definitely does work. But for all intents and purposes right now, we don't want that, because we still got to do shots after this, right? All right. Now we will arm him up quickly. And like I said, this guy comes with all the gold. Got your gold pistol. That, I mean, it goes in there, but it doesn't really, it's not meant for that. Clearly. Because it uses the same, so it uses the same holster. But it came with this piece of shit gun. Pardon my language. And I will say this, if I'm going to have to deal with a loose holster, even though you make holsters for this, to get rid of that stupid gun, I'm all for it, because that is the worst gun made in the classified line. So just be careful if you take this out to do shots. I have a feeling, well, it seems to stay in, but I think just, it stays in there. It's just loose. All right, get your little knife. Throw that up there in the sheath. All right, and for me, we'll just kind of throw this rifle on him. Pry that hand open just a little bit. Pop that thing in. And unfortunately, like I said, the M16 is a little bent, but I think we can get away with it. Now, when we want to pose them, like I said, I like to do this if you're new to the channel to show you how difficult or how easy something is going to be. And this guy I'm already having a few issues with. Now, I haven't heated anything up. These pauldrons definitely get in the way. So they will be some of the first things that come off as soon as I'm done doing shots, because frankly, he looks good just standing there. But because this guy is just a little bit bigger, I think they actually look better than what I remember him having them on. But I still don't like him. So the knife fell out pretty easily right onto the floor. So all in all, I think it's a good figure. I don't mind the way that it looks. I'm actually pretty happy that he's different, but still not the greatest. And as you can see, I think I'm going to struggle, because when you're trying to do cross shots like this, any type of knife that's sheathed up here, especially with this, is going to obstruct that. So now let's get on to this guy. And I think the majority of us if we're not completists, bought the pack because of this soul guy himself. And as we can see, it is just the Crimson Guard mask. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because I love the Crimson Guard. I will tell the story. I never looked at the Crimson Guard because of the color as a kid. It was when my son pointed out that it seemed pretty stupid on the 4-inch 25th anniversary, I think it was 25th anniversary, that the Crimson Guard is called, the Crimson Tiger Force is called the Crimson Guard when he's not red. And I went, oh my God, it never dawned on me. So to me, Crimson was just a name. So anyway, there you have his nice mask, and it is nice and shiny, which I love the sheen on this. I think this looks good. All right, you got the visor right there. Silver paint. Their paint's gotten much better. We all can remember they had a lot of issues to begin with. Here we have his soft goods cape, which I think just makes him pop. I can't believe I'm going to say this. It kind of gives me the Kylo Ren feel, but not Kylo Ren, because those were such awful movies. Couple pauldrons. I don't remember what these go to. I'm sure they're not new. If you know, please tell me in the comments. I just seem to have forgotten. You have the Cobra logo that is embossed, embroidered onto it. Now you're looking here and you're wondering, wait a minute, that's not on him. Well, no, they're using the Cobra officer gear, but they're still giving him the Crimson Guard belt. All right. Now, coming all the way down here, the legs are completely different, and I'm not sure whose legs they are. And I'm fine with that because those Crimson Guard feet are the absolute worst because they have the toe that sticks up, so it makes them harder to stand. Doesn't mean you need stands, but it does make them harder to stand. So all in all, this is a completely different sculpt. So we'll kind of look at everything. He's got some pinless elbows here. Again, pauldrons that I'm not sure where they come from because I can't think of any figures that have this. All right. Pinless on both. He's got little elbow pads right there. We've looked at his web gearing. Just some black right up there. Really makes it pop. Then you got these little pouches. Again, we can take this off if you really want to. All right. The purple up top there. Obviously the orange. That is the same symbol that we see on the backpack. He's got the same holster that comes with the Crimson Guard. All right. And then when you get down to the boots, it just has a little bit of different color here. So all in all, I like the fact that they changed it up. They're using the same torso as the Cobra. Grab him. Cobra officer, which I definitely don't mind. I love that they did something different. But the legs being completely, I'm not going to say new, completely different, is awesome. And they're much better than these feet right here. So it does distinguish him from being another Crimson Guard. So quickly looking at it, he can look up and he can look down side to side, right? Kind of moves forward and backwards. Even with the pauldrons, he can do a good T-pose. I like the way this is set really well, probably because it goes right underneath here. It's not moving at all, and it really makes me happy. All right, bicep swivel, pinless double elbows. Then you have your wrists. Again, same thing. Figure feels good. He's not soft. He's not hard where it feels like it's going to crack or break. There you have. So this, the only other figure that I can remember that has the actual ratcheting sound is that Firefly, which has a very loose body. So he too has somewhat of a loose body. So I bet, you know what? I bet this is Firefly. Firefly and Wreckage. That's probably what this is. Of course, I finally took that Wreckage downstairs, I believe. Anyway, it does turn side to side. Jean-Claude Van Damme, drop down hips. There is your thigh swivel, double pinless boots, or knees. There's your boot cut and ankle rocker. So all in all, this is a good looking figure. Let's look at the soft goods. I think this is good. It kind of has a sheen on the back. I hope this doesn't do the same thing Mindbenders does. And on the back, it just has the orange. So on the inside, it has the orange. And obviously, it's accented a little bit. I'm going to pop this head off here and see what. So he's got the small neck joint. I can tell you right away, it is not going to fit on this guy because this guy has the big one. Unfortunately, it popped out. These guys have different joints, different neck joints. The Python Patrol and this one, I believe, use the same one. Then the Retro and I thought there was another one. Use the smaller neck joint. So they are swappable. Some of them are swappable. But all in all, I don't want to change this at all. Might get rid of these pauldrons. Now to get this thing off, it's just elastic. You can just kind of pull this down and it would come off. I don't really want to take it off because I like the way that it looks. We can kind of arm him up. I won't be having this backpack or using these guns. I hate this backpack. It works if that's what you like. I absolutely hate it. I hate it on Gung Ho. I will never use it again, and I probably won't be using these weapons either. Keep the pistol, throw that right in there. All right, that looks good. Here is sheath for his knife. And once again, a spot for the sword. And then I guess, we'll just take this gun. Told you I hate these guns. I won't be using them. I have more than enough guns. And if you're interested, take a look. I got a whole bunch of Top Fun gun reviews. I got a whole bunch of reviews with Arsenal Pew Pews and, of course, Gridiron. So all in all, there you go. And you can pose him pretty well, pretty easily. Once again, you don't need stands. And if you can tell, this table is a little loose as the wall's kind of fallen down behind me. All right, there it is. Man, this was going to be a long one. I knew a 2-pack, but there's a lot of new things on this. Not new, just reused stuff. I won't be using these guns. Again, if you like them, God bless you. You can use what you want. The guns that are over here are obviously colored and painted for them, other than the M16, but these guys, well, they should have M16s, but he's having an M4, so. Let's get this, let's wrap this up, because I want to do some pictures and have fun with these figures. All right, so that's the review of my Steel Core Commander and the Twilight Guard. I like the Twilight Guard. I like the fact that they are fixing and using different bucks, and it only makes sense, and hear me out on this, it only makes complete sense reusing a buck, using a different buck on something like this, because everything that you're seeing is the overlay. It's not built onto it. Now the Crimson Guard here, when you look at the Crimson Guard, his buck is actually his uniform, so you can't just reuse it. I like the fact that they didn't use this, that they used the Cobra Officer web gearing, and then they put this on it. But changing the legs out really makes him stand out as a different character. I like the soft goods, and I like the way it sits on it. It sits on it really good. And unlike, I believe it's Edna, right, from The Incredibles, no capes. I love capes. I think capes are awesome. Batman has an awesome cape. Superman has an awesome. I love capes on figures, especially soft goods. G.I. Joe, you don't get a lot of chances to get it. You're going to get Cobra Commander. You're going to get Serpentor. You're going to get Dr. Mindbender. I don't know who else wears a cape. This is cool to have a nice little small cape. All right, and look at that. That is just made. Like they're like, oh boy, look at this. We have the Iron Grenadier Destro already ready to go with his cape. But anyway, if you do like that, if you've been on the fence because you're like, hey, I don't want to spend $55, which is a high price point for a 2-pack. It should be $45. You buy 2 of something in a pack, it should be less, not more. I understand the accessories things. Not everyone is like me, that they're buying these 3D printed ones or even Valaverse ones. They are only using what they have with G.I. Joe. So I understand it does give you more of an arsenal so you can do what you want with it. But anyway, the fact that they changed the bucks, make them better bucks, I'm not going to say the Crimson Guard is amazing. But the Steel Core, I'm really glad. We talked about it. I think that that figure was supposed to come out earlier. It came out later due to all of the issues with shipping and production, and that is why you had such a crappy buck. And I really don't think that was a good buck. It was way behind. This one is more up to date with what they're doing. So if you want to pick it up, swap the heads, you can do that and have fun, because guess what? These are your figures. You do what you want with them. No one can take it away. If someone calls it something wrong, if you don't want to call it Steel Core, you want to call it Steel Brigade, you can. No one's coming to take your figures. They're your toys. You do what you want. Now I'm going to get out of here because I wasted so much time. Please stick around. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Then hit that bell notification so you're notified anytime I drop a video. Now, don't go anywhere because you stayed this long. God bless you. That takes a lot. Up here, I'm going to drop another G.I. Joe review, and down here would be the playlist of all the G.I. Joe figures that I've done. Take care.